What's up, everybody? RBL Weekly, week 7 of the season. This is the podcast where we break down the top 7 battles from around the world every week. I'm the Roast Battle League Commissioner, Pat Barker. That is the host and creator of the Roast Battle, Brian Moses. What's up, dude? How are you?
It's exciting.
Yeah?
The end.
Okay. Nice. Speaking of exciting, before we get into these, shout out to Toronto. I don't know if you saw on the news, the parades, they closed school last Wednesday. Everybody was celebrating Toronto's first #1.
Oh, really?
They declared it a national holiday. What does Toronto have? Like a prime minister or something? They declared it National Will Christensen versus Rush Kazi Day. Everybody's celebrating in the streets. It's great stuff.
That's awesome. Really? Because they got a RBL #1?
Yeah. The whole country's going fucking crazy.
I love it. Everybody's wearing blackface. Everybody's just Justin Trudeau out there.
Well, I mean, they just do that anyway.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's not a special occasion type of thing. But the whole country very excited, except for Montreal. They have vowed revenge. They're bloodthirsty. Dude, if we could get a Canadian Civil War going, that's all I want.
Really?
That's it, yeah.
You're like a South Park guy? You're like
Sure.
a hockey guy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Canadians versus Maple Leafs? The Leafs?
I feel like if we could get some of that hockey energy where like a Montreal RBL fan sees somebody with an RBL Toronto shirt on in the streets and it's just on site.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that already happens with like Manchester and London.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I just want some soccer hooliganism in this sport.
Okay.
So,
But they're very, sorry. They're very, they only get down in the ring.
yeah.
Kind of like London. London's very proper, and they wear suits when they wake up, kind of a thing. So this is a very, we're talking about two countries that don't normally do this kind of a thing, except under these parameters. So that's going to be tough.
We'll make it happen. It's a goal. It's good to have goals.
All right.
Good
Shout out
to shoot
Toronto.
for.
Yeah, you guys got a #1, and Drake's using AI. I don't know what's happening with your country. #1 in Roast Battle, and Drake's using AI.
Real quick before we get into the battles, because we got some good ones this week. What's the Drake AI thing? I'm not paying attention.
You're lying.
No, I don't know.
We'll get into this week's number. All right.
The diss track or his dick? Which one was AI?
All right, so Drake just put out another diss track for Kendrick, and it's AI. He's basically flowing, but he's using the voice of Tupac and Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, do it like the game where you just impersonate all of them terribly.
Okay.
Before AI, that was what he was doing. And I respect that more.
Yeah.
Drake, what are you doing? Don't use AI.
Or Joyner Lucas, right?
Yeah.
From the perspective of the car that Tupac was in when he got shot.
He's rapping as the car.
Yeah.
It's so fucking hilarious. All right, yeah. Let's get into. I didn't need to know that Drake was using AI. That's
Drake
upsetting. Like, don't you have enough of a head start on everybody else without using artificial intelligence on top of it?
Yeah, he's trying to taunt Kendrick in like the lamest way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, somebody did say it. This was a tweet. They were like, "This is the best verse Snoop has had in decades."
Since the blue carpet treatment or whatever the fuck.
Since Doggy Style.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Let's just get into battles.
Okay.
I don't think anybody wants to hear us talk about rap beefs anymore.
Timestamp it, you guys. This is it.
Exactly. I limit our talking to under 5 minutes at the top and get into fucking battles, and let's get into them right now. And let's start in the Big Apple. Let's start in New York City, the #2 city in our American East Division. One of the showrunners of the New York scene stepped into the ring and had a really fun battle with a guy that I think is also, we said this about Helen K, becoming sort of like an unsung hero. New York, there's a lot of really talented people. This guy has kind of gotten lost in the shuffle. I'm expecting big things out of him this year. Dan Wicks. No, he's not the guy who's lost in the shuffle. We've talked about Dan a lot. He's the showrunner from New York. He battled Andrew Manning, who's a guy that is really, really good.
Okay.
And for some reason has just kind of slipped through the cracks. Here's how good Andrew Manning is. I was talking to Dan about this battle. This is the 3rd time that they've battled. Andrew has won all 3. We know how good Dan is. He's one of the GOATs. If you're good enough to beat Dan Wicks, not once, not twice, but 3 different times, you got something special there. So I think we're going to be seeing some big things out of Andrew Manning this season. Let's jump into the battle right now. As always, we will not watch these first 3 in the studio, but these are for you at home. It's the #7 battle this week from New York. It's Dan Wicks versus Andrew Manning. Here it is.
Go first. 5 jumps. Okay, yeah. Another straight man and another lesbian, guys. How about that? Dan's done theaters. His first was in Aurora, Colorado for that Batman movie. Dan, how do you look like the shooter and one of the nerds who was there?
I'm sorry I ruined your favorite movie. All right, Andrew is on testosterone treatments. Yeah. Man, we really need to get steroids out of softball. Yeah, Andrew used to get bullied for his low testosterone, but look at him now. Yeah. He can't wait to show kids his penis.
This is the battle that we've all wanted, right? LinkedIn versus Reddit. This is what we wanted. Dan's life can be explained by the drugs he's done. His hair is because of mushrooms, and his personality is because of vaccines.
All right, Andrew lives in the apartment upstairs, which is ironic because usually he sleeps under the men who pay the rent. Yeah, Andrew's like, security deposit? How about you deposit some cum in my asshole?
I didn't want to do this, but yes, I live upstairs, and like I've known for years, your show is now literally beneath me. I didn't want to go there, guys. All right. I talked to Dan, and he told me that the only reason he didn't do a mass shooting is because, quote, a true samurai uses a blade. And he's not allowed close enough to a school to use one.
All right, Andrew Manning does not play football. Yeah, he only grips the pigskin when he's fucking his girlfriend.
Last joke. Two more jokes.
I don't know if you guys can see. Dan wears those ugly rings on his hand just so he can put his fingers in something lifeless. Hey, Dan, how does it feel to have the worst looking hands in roasting since Chris Crespo? That's
a throwback, yeah. Chris is my friend. All right. Andrew is from New Haven, or he's from Connecticut, and New Haven is what I call his asshole. Yeah. If you've driven through Connecticut, you know that they have lots of accidents, and one of them is standing on stage with me.
Okay. I have heard of serial killers keeping articles of their victims, but making shirts about them is crazy. Dan's really creative. He once made a sex doll out of nothing but a teen runaway. And the only part of her that didn't make the doll was her hair because he's wearing it.
That's funny because you look like you're about to ask, hey, you want to go see a dead body? Yeah. This might be a bit of betrayal of our friendship, but when Andrew doesn't do well on roast battles, he gets really sad and down on himself, and I kind of need to give him a pep talk and remind him he's funny. It goes to show, you can put the testosterone in the boy, but you can't take the estrogen out of the crybaby pussy.
All right, guys, we're going to go into a tiebreaker round. We're going to hear one more joke from each comic, and then you guys are going to decide at the end of the tiebreaker. All right. Let's give it to Dan since you went first last time.
All right. Andrew, I'm not sure. Andrew is infertile, probably. Yeah, dude, you look like you're trying to compensate for being infertile by dressing like a stepdad.
I'm the dad who stepped up. Actually, Dan and I hung out this week. Dan, I talked to him about the eclipse. He had no problem not looking at the eclipse. He just pretended it was a woman's eyes.
All right, so that was the number 7 battle this week. Dan Wicks versus Andrew Manning. New York falling behind Chicago. They put a point on the board this week. Will Chicago be seen later in the show? Of course, they have a run 6 consecutive weeks to start the season. Will they make it 7? We will find out. We're going to get into the number 6 battle this week. And boy, with New York and Chicago and some of our other cities, it has been a race to the top. With some of our other cities, it has been a race to avoid the bottom. Over these last couple of weeks, we've seen cities making their debuts, jumping on the board, getting some points for the first time. And coming into this week, we were down to 2 cities that had yet to score. Denver and Atlanta.
Oh, shit. Who is it?
One of the droughts is about to end. Do you want to take a guess?
It's got to be Denver because, Atlanta, what are you doing out there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a correct breakdown. That's a correct breakdown in every way. Denver, it kind of felt inevitable, like it's a matter of time. We've seen the talent out there. They're going to get on the board. Atlanta, still a lot to prove. But Denver, breaks the curse this week. They put some points on the board with one of our, favorites from last season. In fact, the Denver MVP from last season, Jake Tepizza.
Hey, Netflix tournament participant.
That's right. Yeah, Jake. So Denver is running their championship tournament right now, and Tepizza is just in the middle of all of it. He's competing for that championship. He's going to be in here doing the Netflix thing. It's a pretty heavy workload, but, the kid's kind of like a joke robot, so I think he can handle it.
It's like March Madness, right? Like you do your conference championship, and then you do the national championship.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what he's doing right now.
Yeah, except both at the exact same time.
Yeah, not like 1 month or 1 week before, and then you do
Without further ado, let's get into the number 6 battle this week. It's Jake Tepizza versus a new name we haven't seen on the podcast before, Christina, Vasile. It's the number 6 battle this week. Here it is.
Go. Oh, man, Christina, I'm really glad you made it out tonight. I mean, I know you'd rather spend your Friday nights in bed repeatedly bumping your head against a Metallica poster in an otherwise empty room, but, you're here. That's great.
I am brave. I am a brave one for coming out here. Jake, you look like Stephen Hawking's bastard child from Epstein's Island. No.
Christina, you Greek bitch. If you're here, who's leaving cigarette burns in the nice tablecloth?
Jake left his band to pursue comedy, probably because he was getting so much pussy. But don't worry, he still uses his guitar strings to strangle the neighborhood cats.
I prefer rope, it much protects your hands a bit more. Anyways.
Sure you do.
Christina Vasile, or as I like to call her, the Greek goddess of forgetting to trim your pubes. Christina was in the market for a new shag carpet, but she decided that she could just shave her legs in the living room instead.
Cool. Jake went to Virginia Tech, which explains why every time he gets turned down, he shoots up a college campus. We're back.
Thank you, Gwen Stefani, if she couldn't spell bananas.
Is that?
All right. Christina's the type of gal to swallow her chewing gum and then fart out a bubble. I didn't want to do that one.
Someone call it a talent. All right. It depends. It's a niche market. Thank you, Incel Ken. What else? You're like Peter Parker if he was bit by an autistic ferret.
That's funny because I was just thinking you were like Miss Frizzle if the magic school bus had a breathalyzer installed. Look, guys.
Fuck them kids.
Christina, she used to party pretty hard back in the day. She'd eat any pill you give her as long as you wrap it in deli meat first.
All right, you fucking sociopath. You look like you still live at home with your parents' rotting corpses. Can you just imagine him like propping them up at breakfast, like you've barely touched my sausage, mother?
Hey, someone's got to brush their hair. Hey,
So that was number 6 this week. Jake Topitza versus Christina Vasile. Topitza moving on in the tournament. The man's got a heavy workload, but if anybody can handle it, he is the guy. Christina Vasile, her RBL Weekly debut. This podcast has been great, I feel like, this season for bringing forth some new players in the sport, some people we haven't seen before. And a lot of them have come to us from the expansion city of Manchester. Now, Manchester is pumping out these new stars seemingly weekly, and they had a very interesting strategy that leads to our number 5 battle this week.
Oh.
Manchester decided to host, and I think this is a first in roast battle history, a roast battle open mic.
Oh. Okay.
I had the same reaction. I was like, wow, what a terrible idea. Because I thought it was exclusively you put your name on there and you go and they give you an opponent there. And I found out that was an option, but you could also sign up in pairs.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, all right, well, that kind of makes sense. Now, they ended up having 12 battles in a night, which I think is a record. I don't think anyone's ever done 12.
Wow.
It feels like a marathon of a show.
That is an open mic.
It feels like it would be very bad, and I haven't seen 11 of them. So the other 11 might have sucked. I don't know. But this one, pretty good. To be able to throw an open mic and still land a top 5 battle for the week is it just speaks to what Manchester's doing. Everything
Dude,
they're doing.
That is a flex, by the way. Their throwaway battles just in the top 7 of the world.
Yeah.
Manchester, the soccer hooligans, you guys are, I love them. They're my favorite. They're my favorite city right now.
Well,
I've said this before.
Yeah, you have. They are definitely the surprise of the season so far. And they grabbed the number 5 spot this week with an open mic battle. Let's check it out. This is Brendan Fox versus Paul Shean. Here it is.
I would just like to say before we start that under gross habits, Paulie Shean put, "I'll wipe my finger on my asshole and smell it." I don't have any jokes for that, but if he wins, do not shake this cunt's hand. He's disgusting. Paulie has the stage presence of someone whose parents are fighting in the next room. This leads to some pretty bad sets, but I do think he sets a good example for Irish people. Like, you can come over to Manchester, bomb, and not fuck up the Arndale.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. And if you guys would look under your seats. Brendan looks like Ivan Drago if he was thawed out of a microwave and never landed a punch. Look at his blonde hair and blue eyes. He's a real Soviet Terminator. Not because he could star in an action movie, but because he's been liable for so many abortions.
Paulie's bisexual. Yeah, and he works with spreadsheets, so I'm going to try and do this in like a mathematical sense. Paulie told me he's 10% gay, which means he's 90% straight, but he 100% hasn't had sex in the last 2 years. Is that true?
That is correct.
Can I talk about the story when you last had sex? Is that cool?
Yes.
All right. Okay. The last time Paulie had sex, he was dominated by a woman. Can I get it? Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So Paulie was like standing there, and then this woman captured him, took his lucky charms, and then he had to grant her 3 wishes. He's a leprechaun, is what I'm saying, people. Back to you.
It was a solid wish. Don't take it back. Thanks, Brendan, you boomerang-dicked Easter Island head. Brendan moved from Australia to Manchester to pursue his dream of becoming a barman. Is that what you do?
Yeah, that's what I do. I do that.
No, I can't wait to see Brendan reach the next stage of his career. Cocaine with the kitchen staff. But it's okay, guys. It's okay that Brendan works in a bar. He's Australian. His people have loads of experience being behind bars.
Okay. Paulie looks like a test tube baby that was made with Guinness. Now, I don't want to rag on the Irish too much. We've got some Irish here tonight, don't we? Yeah? Give us a round of applause. I've got some Irish ancestry myself, actually, or as my mum calls it, my retarded side. We've both got accents, but Paulie's is way harder to understand. Like, if you've ever seen his stand-up, you know that he's like, he says, 30, I'm turning 30. He's like, I saw my therapist. He's like, yeah. He has the trouble saying a few things, but the thing he has the most difficulty saying is anything memorable whatsoever.
It's true. I have a lot of rough nights out. And okay. Brendan likes to have his ass eaten out.
Yes, he does.
By women. And he claims that it's not gay. Not yet. Brendan first had his ass eaten out by a black woman. So the only time Brendan wants a black woman to go down under is when she's playing his arse like a didgeridoo.
I hope that doesn't go on the internet. Paulie looks like a child actor's stunt double. Paulie has this bit in his act where he says Manchester's one of the few places that people don't care if you're Irish. As a foreigner myself, people do care if you're from somewhere else, just not if you're a little boring cunt.
Not bad. Brendan does Jesus, ooh. Let me. I'm drunk. I'm sorry. I'm Irish. Brendan does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which sounds like a great outlet for him to avoid strangling women in real life. His favorite choke submission is the triangle choke because he likes having men's faces pressed into his booty hole. And he claims that it's not gay.
It's only gay if you come. Paulie is a software engineer, am I correct?
That's true.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, I think Paulie would do really well if, like, the machines rose and kind of took over the world and tried to kill us all. Not because he's good with computers, but he just doesn't have enough personality to register as a human being. Off to you, sir.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go for this one. Brendan's dad has MS. And his sister has autism. But in Brendan's family, he's the biggest retard.
That's true. Is that it?
No, I got more. Brendan's dad also has dementia, which is the second worst news he's received next to finding out that Brendan does stand-up comedy. And to his dad, Brendan is practically unrecognizable, which could also be said for his reputation in the comedy circuit or any woman he slept with on a night out.
Was that 5?
Brendan Fox,
Five.
All right, so that was the number 5 battle this week. Brendan Fox versus Paul Shean, picking up 3 more points for Manchester, expanding their lead over London. Of course, London, it's a long episode. They could still be on there. We don't know. We will find out. Don't go anywhere. All right, let's jump into the battles we're actually going to watch here in the studio. I love the first 3 because it's like we have to make small talk about the shit we didn't watch. Let's actually watch some stuff. And let's start with the number 4 battle from Austin, Texas.
What?
Yes. Austin put up points the first couple weeks with mothership battles. This is the first time they've landed on the countdown with something from the Creek. This is a very fun battle because you often refer to Austin's style as slurs.
Yes, the buzzword capital.
Right. Speak to what you mean by that a little bit.
Yeah, you can get away with using epithets, right? Are they called epithets or epitaphs?
Yeah, one of those is like something you put on a tombstone.
Right, and the other one is indicates a slur.
Yeah, very similar words. I know the one you mean, though.
Demographic, ethnicity, genre, whatever you want to call it.
Epithets.
Yes.
That's the one.
But yeah, you can get away with saying cartoonish things that you could say in the 1900s.
Now, this is a tale of 2 battles, and we're just gonna jump in at the battle. But I want to say the video we're about to watch, the first 3.5 minutes that I've cut out for time, is literally them destroying a heckler in the audience, both battlers and all the judges, by just repeatedly calling him gay. It's 3.5 minutes of calling this heckler gay. I say it for context because right away you're gonna there's like callbacks to it.
Okay.
There's a sound effect. The guy on the soundboard is just hitting a button that says gay, 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 gay. So you get that. And I'm watching that and I'm like, well, this is Austin. Here we go. And then the actual battle doesn't have too much of what's become to be the Austin style.
Nice.
So nice little juxtaposition in there.
This battle sounds gay.
The first 3.5 minutes definitely are.
Okay.
But I think you're going to like what we're about to check out. This is the Battle of the Nicks. This is Nick V versus Nick Cox. It's the number 4 battle this week. Grow up. Austin, Texas, here it is.
You won the pre-battle, so Nick V, I'm going to let you go first. Guys, third battle of the night, second to last battle. Nick V, Nick Cox, here we go.
Yeah. All right, so Nick Cox, he's pretty cool, but this guy's gay as hell. Come on, this guy's gay as hell.
You can't do that anymore.
I'm sorry. I really did. It's just so funny. He's got such a hateable face. Yeah. All right, hold on. Settle down now. Listen up. I got important stuff to talk about. I had a hard time writing jokes for this dude. He looks very plain. He's just like a boring dude. I feel like Nick's the type of dude to, at the end of the biggest mushroom trip of his life, look up at the sky and go, you know what? I will season my chicken.
It's a long setup.
Nick is from Minneapolis. If he was regular height, he would just be from Appolis.
It's very silly. I love it.
Hey, fuck you, dog. You got ugly shoes on. Nick's a bitch.
Cap.
Cap. Nick's boring as hell. He looks boring. Nick looks like the type of dude to come on a girl and then go, all done. And then skip out of the room.
Nick went to juvie when he was in high school, but he escaped using a magic ring that rendered him invisible.
Hey! Hey, who told you about that? That's fucked up. All right, for this next joke, I'm actually gonna need some help. So welcome to the stage, Ben Williams, everybody. I need some help real quick, Ben.
Oh, what the?
Come on, Ben.
Oh no.
Come on, I'm bringing one in. It's an alley-oop.
I don't think I've ever seen
Hey, so Nick used to have a girlfriend, and they broke up, and now she writes for SNL. Isn't that crazy? Hey, what's SNL stand for, Nick?
Sucking niggas long.
You hate that.
Ben Williams, everybody.
I like that. That's really sick. You guys look like a British street gang while you're up here.
Yeah.
All right, bruv, you got a couple quid on you, do ya?
Yeah.
Nick looks like the kind of dude who'd say, hey, dog, I'm going to keep dropping these rhymes until I make it out the Shire, fool.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, haha. Wait till I make it, though. Wait till I make it, though. Bitch, what? Yeah. Hey, nice knife shirt. Why'd you wear that? Because your girlfriend cut you out of her life?
Jesus.
I wrote that 5 minutes ago. I saw him in the green room.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Not Nick. He just uses the doggy door. This motherfucker's tiny.
Yeah, I'm a dog. Where my dogs at?
Yep, there it is.
Bitch.
Yeah,
got
dude.
dogs like that.
You're a dog, a fucking cocker spaniel. Am I right? They fucking gay guy.
No, that's not funny. Don't laugh at that. I had a hard time. I was gonna show you guys this. I had a hard time writing jokes for this dude. I texted my friend who does roast. I said, "Help! I'm roasting Nick Cox." She replied 2 minutes later, "He's the hardest to roast because he looks so gay and boring." And then he replied, "Do bird jokes. He looks like a fucking bird." So that's joke 5, everybody. That's my last joke. So hard to write for this boring
Candace is
fuck.
a bitch. Nick was a Boy Scout, so there's no fucking way those kids in his basement are getting out of those knots.
All right, so that was number 4, Nick Cox, Nick V. One of the more polarizing battles amongst the ranking committee. A couple people loved it, a couple people did not. Where do you fall?
I thought it was fun because I got to meet Nick Cox.
Yeah.
Nick Cox is very funny. He got to go up against what looked like pandemonium happening prior to the battle. Mm-hmm. And then he battled a friend of his. I don't know what to say about this battle. I mean...
So you didn't love it or hate it?
No, I just thought
it lands in the middle for you.
Yeah, because there was a lot of things going on in that battle I didn't like. And they really were from Nick V.
I could tell.
Yeah,
I could tell.
I mean, listen, Nick V looks like the Lucky Charms mascot if he were a wigger.
Sure.
Right? He's got that look about him. Or, you know, it doesn't even matter anymore. I'm not going to keep joking. But I just didn't like a lot of the things. It just felt like a lot of... he was trying a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
He felt like his attempt should have carried him. I felt like a lot more. Like, you know, what John Ajoto said to our boy Razor Ramon.
Oh, yeah,
where he
Scott
was just
Hall.
like, oh, you thought charisma was going to carry you here.
Right.
And I felt like Nick, because he's so likable, and I think maybe in his stand-up, his charisma does carry him.
Yeah.
And you could see that. He's a likable, he's got a camera-ready face. You know, he's got a look about him that's like, oh, I can see that.
Don't
right?
call him likable when you visibly did not like him.
I didn't like
a couple
when
minutes ago.
You know what it is? It's almost like when girls say like, "Oh, he's cute until he says something," right? But that was like Nick V as a battler to me. I'm like, oh, this is good until it was like Logic if he was Bubba Sparks from a hip hop perspective. It was just, I didn't like it. And I didn't like him bringing a black guy on stage to say the N-word because he wrote the joke. And then the black guy said it as if it was like something monumental. Like, we've been seeing that since we started doing stand-up, right? Jamar Neighbor used to do that with white guys. He's like, hey, I wrote this nigga joke. Will you say it for me? But because Jamar wrote it, it's okay for the black or for the white guy to say it. This guy did something different. He wrote an N-word joke, had the black guy say it. The black guy said it. In one of those, remember that hoodie I had?
Yeah. It was the first thing I thought. I'm like,
it felt so slave-like. I was like, was this like Gen Z Django Unchained? Why is he saying the N-word for this white guy who clearly wrote this dumbass joke?
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
And Nick Cox was good. And the battle of Nick.
Yeah, he was great. He had a lot of fun stuff.
And the battle of Nick Vagina versus Nick Penis. I'm gonna go with Penis.
You know, it's funny because like Jack Timmons, I saw him in the background there. He's one of the judges, and when he had the #1 battle in week 1 with Heather Keith, he had a more reined in version of what Nick V was doing in terms of like playing defense. Like after every one of Heather's jokes, he's like, "No, fuck you, don't laugh at that, fuck you," and it was like Nick was doing a little bit of that, but I could tell that you didn't care for some of the stuff.
No, and
where my dog's at.
I was rooting for Nick V. That wasn't even bad. I don't know. It's almost like Nick V has a Marcus Oland likability about him, but just doesn't have Marcus Oland's jokes.
Gotcha. Nick Cox, I thought, was great.
Yeah.
Really solid throughout. And frankly, the way Nick V was acting enhanced a couple of Nick Cox's jokes, like the dropping rhymes till I make it out the Shire.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I saw that there. And it's funny because in Austin, everybody gets on Tony Wellens. They're like, that's the guy who wants to be black. And I'm like, I don't know. Not saying there can't be more than one, but right now, if I had power rankings, the wannabe black guy power rankings after that performance, I think Nick V shoots to the top of that.
I don't even know if Nick wants to be black so much as he wants to be like Jack Harlow and Justin Bieber. Like he wants to be as cute as Justin Bieber, but like have like a hard enough rhyme scheme where people are like, oh, he can kind of spit.
Yeah.
That's Nick V.
I'll be honest, I liked it more than you did. I thought Nick V, I was charmed. I get what you're saying.
I wrote this 5 minutes ago.
It was, yeah. It was not. I didn't think the jokes were that. I thought Nick Cox had sometimes what makes a fight really good is one person bringing one thing, and we're going to see this in the #3 battle momentarily, but one person bringing one thing to the table and another person bringing another thing to the table, and just together you have a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And I thought Nick Cox's jokes were so strong that he carried that part of the battle, and I thought Nick V did the thing where it's just everybody's having fun up there.
That's true.
I thought that the vibe was good, and I thought Nick was contributing to that, and in some ways it was because he was making himself a bigger target for the jokes. So I thought that together, I enjoyed that aspect of it. But I also don't have, I didn't, the SNL thing, was a little bit questionable for me. I like the idea of tagging in someone else. Like, I like when people try something outside the box, but I think I'm with you overall on that one.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, listen, there was a lot of effort from Nick V, which is like, I get that, and, traditionally little people are entertaining. So, I mean, like, out of the box, he should have been. Out of the cereal box that he jumped out of, Cracker Jack box.
I'm gonna lay off a little. I lied and said I was 5'9" on my driver's license. I should sit this play out.
Yeah, I bet Nick did too.
Yeah,
said he was 5'9". Clearly, he's 4'9".
All right. Well, that was the #4 battle this week from Austin. They put up points for the first time since week 2. And now we get to a city that, comes into this week last in their division, only 1 point on the season. And they put up the #3 battle this week. This was sent to me with the description that one of these guys, I believe the exact wording is the Asian Digits. And I was like, oh, no, that can't possibly be good. I would say that's, I get where they're coming from. That's not what we're about to watch. It's something a little bit different. This is a guy we saw a couple times last season, Vanai Murthy, very, very funny joke writer. And then an enigma, a new guy, something we haven't seen before, Shota Saimu.
Ooh, that translates into the Asian Digits.
The Asian Digits, that's the exact translation. It's Roast Battle Tokyo, the #3 battle this week, Vanai versus Shota. Here it is.
Ding, ding, ding. Shota looks like he apologizes to his dick every time he jerks off. Shota looks like after he's done pleasuring himself with stolen ladies' underwear, he makes sure to dispose of them in the proper trash receptacle. Shota looks like he kicks Koreans and Chinese out of his apartment building because they don't spark joy. Yes. Shut the fuck up. I was in Canada last year. I became homesick. I was thinking of going back to Japan. And at the time, I watched Japanese TV drama for distract myself. And Vanai showed up in first episode as a Mongolian. Yeah, I thought I want to go back to Japan. Yeah. Hi. Shota actually won a national Manzai comedy competition when he was in college.
Crowd is so genuinely impressed. I love
Imagine winning a comedy competition, but it's for Japanese comedy. That would be like trying to break into the English entertainment industry, but in Canada. It would be like going abroad for a year to study English, but somehow still sounding like human Google Translate. I'm fine, thank you. Thank you.
I'm fine, thank
Vanai came to Japan because it has a lot in common with his homeland of India. Both like red dots. Both like curry. Both have sexual issue on the public transport. But yours are spicier. We have bukkake. You have bukkake buses. Thank you, Jap GPT.
That's a ballsy thing to say.
We just had a cherry blossom season here, which is nice. Yeah, cherry blossom's obviously one of the symbols of Japan. Actually, when you think about it, Shota is like a cherry blossom tree. He's overrated. He doesn't last long. And every time people see his pink bits, they're blackout drunk and vomiting.
I don't know what that means, but I can tell it's really good.
It's a good cherry blossom joke.
I'm sure it is.
It's the best I've heard. Vanai's that furious that Vanai married a Japanese lady instead of good Indian girl. We nearly had the world's first
Onna owner killing. I'm gonna say again. We nearly had world's first onna owner killing.
Hey, do you think we can get Shohei Ohtani's translator to explain what the fuck Here he's available. When I interviewed Shota for this battle, honestly, all his answers to my questions were so boring. He's like the most average Japanese dude you can imagine.
Perfect.
Yes. He loves baseball.
Yes.
His favorite food is sushi.
Yes.
His favorite places to travel are Hawaii and Korea. Honestly, Shota, you're such a basic Japanese bitch. I'm surprised tourists aren't lining up outside Shibuya Station to take pictures with you. You're such a basic Japanese bitch that when you go to Korea, the Koreans don't know whether to punch you or eat you.
Thank you, Paulie Woody Allen. Last year, he got a yellow-brown baby. And his baby is so cute. I thought it was Vanai's baby in Shibuya last night, but it wasn't. It was small, cute vomit.
So much for the polite Japanese. Keep it going for short duck dong, ladies and gentlemen. Shota, obviously, we've seen him tonight. He loves to apologize, you know. In fact, the real reason he moved to Canada was that so that he could get more practice saying sorry. But like a true Japanese person, the only thing he will never apologize for is the rape of Nanking.
Thanks for the joke you bought on Mercari. Vanai is American. He went to atomic bomb dome in Hiroshima, and he said, "I'm sorry. So don't worry about that. You didn't do that." And we can see you as a. We don't see you as an American. You should apologize for 9/11.
Out of nowhere.
Oh my God!
USA! That's an all-time great moment.
I can't tell who
And Vanai said he was shocked by Japanese curry. But that was 20 years ago. Today in Tokyo, we can get authentic Indian curry at even convenience stores. You should apologize for 7-Eleven too.
USA!
Wow.
Wow.
Ending on a bang.
I mean, that's like Palestine chanting, "We stand with Israel."
Yeah.
That's wild what just happened. That was culturally one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
An Indian guy and a Japanese guy bringing together a room full of people with a 9/11 joke and ending in a USA chant. It's beautiful.
It doesn't get much better than that.
It's what the sport's all about.
Shout out the top Shata.
Dude, he was obviously let's start with the obvious. I didn't understand a lot of it. I listened to this battle 4 different times. I was trying to catch as much as I could. Even from Vanai, there were certain references that I didn't understand. You could tell they're very well-structured jokes. I don't know what the pink bits about the cherry blossom tree means. I didn't catch Japanese people refuse to apologize for the rape of... I don't know what that was. But you could tell by the structure and the audience reaction, these are very good jokes. And the ones I got, I thought were great. Shota was just... He's one of those people, much like the last battle, one guy brings like the jokes and one guy brings the personality until the end when Shota, that 9/11, 7/11 joke was very well written and layered and like, you shouldn't apologize for Hiroshima, you should apologize. Fuck. That was great, but like he won my heart the moment he got a big reaction from the crowd, his first big reaction, and then he told the crowd to shut the fuck up. Like, the crowd was laughing at something he said, and he was like, shut the fuck up. Like, I love that.
That's their
awesome.
Digis moment, I think.
Yeah.
Of it's like go with it. You're like, hey, I'm talking.
Right.
I'm in control.
And the one where he repeated the entire joke that bombed, he's just like, I'm going to repeat that. And he just did it slower.
I mean, it's kind of apropos for, 2 bombs that happen in Japan.
Yeah.
And then chant USA at the end.
Fat man and little boy.
Hey.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it a lot, but I liked the crowd reaction, so I understood that the battle was great. So universally, that's a language breaker for the most part for me. Just like, okay, everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
I can understand Vanai for the most part. So I understand like they were both riding a rhythm of comedy that I could understand, in the battle of 2 different types of cult leaders.
It's really hard to rank a battle like that.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. Oddly enough, it was one of the more consistent ones across the committee. Everybody kind of had it in the 4 to 5 range, and because everything else was so all over the place, the consistency carried them, and they end up with the number 3 spot this week.
Yeah, good job, Japan. Is this their first number 3?
Yeah. Yeah,
wow.
They came into this week with only 1 point on the season. So
I love it.
They pick up 5 this week. That's a big week for them.
Japanese Steve Jobs and Indian Steve Wozniak.
Shota just seems like a kind of guy that I want to hang out with.
He's so cool.
Roast Fest 2 is happening in September. I want to grab a beer with Shota.
Yeah?
That's my main thing on the bucket list.
Yeah, he looks like the protagonist in like a kung fu film, and then Vanai looks like the villain.
Yeah, I can see that.
Always going like this, got the little hoop earring right here. Get him!
Fun stuff from Tokyo. I think not being able to understand it in some ways enhanced the experience.
Yes,
so,
iPhone maker, iPhone support.
Exactly.
There it is.
Nailed it. Well, let's move on to the number 2 battle this week. And boy, oh boy, if you had trouble understanding the last one, it's not going to get any easier for you because we're going to Scotland.
God, Scotland. Every week with you guys. I love it.
I love it too. This features a guy making his 2nd appearance of the RBL Weekly season. He had a number 1 battle earlier in the year. Now he has a number 2 battle. I'm talking about Jack Trainer. We've seen him before going up against someone who I believe is making her RBL Weekly debut, Lauren Stevens. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. As always from Scotland, let's just get right into it. Number 2 this week, here it is.
Make noise! Every fucking time.
Lauren told me she's mixed race. I'm not sure what race is, but it's definitely not the 100 metre of the relay. Her being mixed race and me being ginger, I was worried we'd look like Harry and Meghan up here. But the only time we've been banished by royalty was chucked at a Burger King at 3 a.m. We look like Harry and Meghan if they failed to make it through that Parisian tunnel.
Thanks, Jack. I'll level with you. I thought the only roast I'd ever attend was my sister's cremation. But watching Jack's ginger hair burn under these lights, close second. If Jack ever reproduced, it would resemble an anemic Crunchy. Jack is a modern day Jimmy Cranky, but a smash to the skull would have been an improvement.
Wow.
Lauren told me she had a nose job. I know, I don't believe it either. That's less of a nose job and more of a nose 0-hour contract. Lauren has an aunt and an uncle on her dad's side who can't see, hear, or speak. They're the only people in her family that actually enjoy her comedy.
Jack looks like if Garfield discovered heroin.
Nice. So good.
Jack says he's riddled with learning difficulties and just saying what he really is, a fucking nerd. Jack's mum fell for a pyramid scheme. Nice to know that an Eiffel Tower caused the conception of this mangled mess.
Lauren told me she got her first tattoo at 15. I thought that was a bit young till I found out they usually brand cattle between 4 and 6 months. You know Lauren's rough because she was a child actor and wasn't molested. Lauren enjoys charity work. I assume. Why else would she be going out with someone from Ayrshire? They met on Tinder once her boyfriend selected inbreeding and webbed feet into his preferences.
Thanks, mate. Jack's uncles died of an overdose, so Jack based his appearance on a combination of all of them to allow him to feel more comfortable fucking himself. Jack says he went away and reinvented himself by listening to the Stone Roses and sniffing cocaine. I'd like to apologise to the Stone Roses, as he thought they were a t-shirt brand. Jack was brought up Catholic but doesn't believe it now, as he was the only one to leave school completely untouched.
Wow.
Lauren studied performance and music, meaning she can now sing the wee on-hold jingle while she's working at a call centre. Lauren told me she was an actor when she was younger. Didn't know they had reoccurring characters in the Jeremy Kyle show. Lauren crashed into the back of a priest, exchanged details with him so she can finally have someone saved on her phone under the name Father.
Jack's lost every fight he's ever been in, apart from the fight for his life, which he sadly keeps winning.
Barely.
Everyone in Jack's family has ended up with dementia because you would want to forget your bloodline created this. Jack was the last out of his friends to get his hole consensually.
Lauren once tried to hang herself. Unfortunately, it didn't work because you need a neck for that. Lauren was in a band that took a lot of inspiration from Paramore. Shame it wasn't Nirvana and she didn't blow her own head off. Found a list of some of Lauren's failed stage names when she was trying to make it. I've got Lauren, out of breath, going up that hill. Cardi, Acarest. And last one, Pissy Elliot.
Gross.
Jack got dropped from his agent this week. Not the first time he's been dropped. No, that happened when his mum dropped him on his head, as he accidentally took meth. Jack is like the remnants of Bette Midler's smear. Jack's got a phobia of foods touching each other. This derived from his uncle's testicles tickling his chin.
So that was number 2 this week, Scotland. I got distracted over there. Our producer is hard at work on all this, and I didn't realize that one of the computer screens has the closed captions at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I was more focused on that and seeing what percentage of the words they could understand. And they did better than I did.
Okay.
The only one they struggled with, he had a joke about, he used the phrase on hold jingle. and they wrote On Hold Django.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
So they missed that one pretty badly.
2 Django references in the episode.
Yeah. I had over 2.5, so we still got some time to go. I thought this was I thought it was solid. I thought by Scotland standards, it was maybe a step below what they usually do. I'll be 100% honest. I did not have this as high as 2 on my my rankings. I think I had this like 5, somewhere in that neighborhood. Obviously, they do a lot of jokes, and there's always going to be some home runs. Fucking Garfield discovering heroin was insane, and then Jack had one a couple later that I'm blanking on right now that I really branding cattle for her first tattoo at 15. I really liked a couple of them, but overall I struggled with this one a little bit.
Yeah, this was tough.
Yeah.
The end.
Okay. All right. Well, then, congratulations, Scotland.
No, I mean, it was, yeah. I don't know what to say. I mean, it was, there was a lot in there. I mean, he did a mixed race joke up top, and they did an inbred joke, and I was like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then, it's just, there were some big pops in there. I mean, for it to be number 2 over the other 5, I don't know. I just,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, yeah, I'm looking at the committee on this one right now. Maybe it's because there's some jokes they haven't heard before, and that might carry this to, like, oh, I never heard that before. I got to put him there. But I don't know. I mean, there wasn't a lot I understood. I know Jack's got some great jokes in there. Lauren's new, and she was there.
It's also really tough. The thing about this is like we're doing all of this very legitimately, and if I was sort of cheating a little bit, there's no way I would put Tokyo and Scotland back to back on a podcast. I understand if you're watching right now and you're like, that's 2 battles in a row where I had a hard time understanding what was being said, and that's not ideal. I agree with you. This thing, we're treating this as a legitimate sport. People are giving these rankings. We are taking cumulative, based on a number of people. So while from an entertainment perspective, having Tokyo and Scotland back to back is really, really tough, that's the way it shook out. And I'm not going to take a point away from somebody or add a point to somebody in an effort to get the podcast to like run a little bit more smoothly. This thing is a sport. I have to treat it legitimately, but I am the first to acknowledge that back to back those battles, it's a little bit tough. I understand more of what Jack is saying than I did with Lauren, but it's always going to be a thing. But this is a worldwide sport. We have a lot of people in Scotland watching who understand perfectly what is being said. We have a fan base in Tokyo that will understand Shota. So as an American, I'm sitting here like, oh, that was a tough back-to-back.
I'm just saying that's 3 battles back-to-back where one person speaking better English than the other person.
That's a fact. Well, what do you say we get into the number 1 battle where everybody is speaking perfect English and they are...
No, let's just, before we get into it, shout out to the committee because that is cool that there is no international bias, right? On a purely American podcast and a show that originated in America, for our American committee for the most part, for them to consistently put in these international battles where both of us and even our producer can't really understand what's happening without subtitles. I just think that's a big swing of grace. That's a big swing of respect. And that's a big swing of a legitimacy for the sport, for that committee to be like, you know what, it doesn't really matter if I can't understand it or not. I'll look at the subtitles and if the jokes are great.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scoring on. So I really appreciate that. So thank you. Shout out to the committee. I'm just joking sometimes.
No, I understand, but it's also fair to kind of like pick apart because it's one thing when you're watching battles, alone, and then you get in here and you're watching them. How you take media in differently when you're like let's say you're driving with your mom in the car. And you're listening to like a rap song that you've listened to a million times, but you never notice. Now all of a sudden your mom's there and you're like, man, this is really like misogynistic. I didn't realize it said bitch this much. You take in media differently when you're like, in a group setting. And I'm sitting here, I watched it at home, and like I said, I had it lower on my list, but I was like, oh, that was solid. And then I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I can't understand a word. This is taking forever, So I think it's fair to kind of like pick apart what the committee is doing. And how they're ranking things. To me, we show a lot of love to Scotland because everybody on the committee is a battler. Everybody on the committee is a comedian. We're not picking random people out of nowhere. Like, these are all people who respect the art of joke writing, I think, above all else. So I do think everybody listens extra hard to try to get down to the root of things with the jokes. For me, the jokes this week weren't on the level that Scotland is sometimes at, which is why I had it a little bit lower. I really try to fight through like the accent thing, but to me, I just felt like the hit rate this week was not as high as you typically get out of Scotland. There were a couple of big knockout punches, but I think if you look at the CompuBox or whatever, the punches connected, that percentage was a little bit lower than usual.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just
It's also sometimes and this is the last thing I'll say on it, and then we'll get to the number one battle. It depends on the weeks, and I know this is frustrating for some cities. Sometimes you send in a banger of a battle on a week where we have 7 other bangers, and then you have another week where, you know, it ebbs and flows. You got, like, this week would have been a great week to kind of jump in and steal some points for some cities, because I felt like overall it wasn't as strong as we got in, you know, week 4 or week 5 or whatever. But that's the game you play. You don't know what you're going up against. Some weeks you can come in and get the number 5 battle with a literal open mic. That's this week.
You're right.
Yeah. The number 1 battle this week, they're going to have another parade in Toronto.
What? Where is Atlanta?
39. Where is Atlanta? Dude, you want to talk about a battle where they spoke perfect English and the whole time you're like, I wish I didn't understand this. No, shout out to Atlanta. They're figuring it out.
I'm coming this Thursday, Atlanta. Get your shit together.
You're going to Atlanta.
I'm coming.
Yeah, dude, you better, heads better roll when you get in there.
Yeah, and hell's coming with me.
Yeah, that's like Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross. You're showing up and, you know, cleaning house over there.
Oh, no, I'm like Kurt Russell from Tombstone. I'm fucking coming.
Okay, well, that's even more intense. I love it. Toronto, 39 weeks between last season and this season without a number 1 battle. They did it last week, and they liked it so much, they said, let's do it again. Last week's battle was a lot of fun. It had a really good friend energy. This is kind of the opposite of that. This is, these are 2 exes who had a relationship, and the vibe I get is that it was not very good. It was not a good relationship. They both still harbor a lot of resentment and ill will, and they decided to battle, which I would advise against strongly. I think it's a terrible idea, but in this case, it made for an entertaining, if at times maybe a little bit uncomfortable battle, but that's number 1 this week. It's from Toronto, 2 weeks in a row, the number 1 battle. This is Sebastian Fazio against Amanda Custodio. Here it is.
They dated.
Amanda's favorite rapper is 50 Cent, which is fitting because her pussy is filled with many men. Many men. And after sleeping with her myself, I wish death upon me.
You know, that's actually so crazy. And do you want to know why it's so crazy? Because when me and Sebastian dated, I had sex with many men. And they were all black.
Why'd you have to specify they were black?
It's just
I know they were black. I'm the one who paid them.
Okay.
A woman once rejected Sebastian for not being 6 feet tall, so he just put her 6 feet under.
Amanda's home country, Portugal, has the record for the world's largest omelet. The biggest waste of eggs since the one that made Amanda. Amanda's parents actually, as a kid, called her their little egg because they beat her.
Jesus Christ.
Sebastian was molested by priests in Italy.
Setup, by the way.
Like I said, he was molested by priests in Italy.
Can you guys stop laughing? What the fuck is wrong with that's not even the joke. You guys are like.
They're laughing because they know I pegged you. That's why they're laughing. No. Anyway, anyways, yeah, he got molested by priests in Italy. He didn't grow up with a father, but his asshole was full of fathers. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
While we were dating, I refused to eat Amanda's ass because I hate when there's hair in my food. I actually broke up with Amanda during COVID because, in my defense, it was much easier going down on her without a sense of taste. Because it's disgusting down there. This guy knows. What's up?
You know what?
This guy knows. What's up? I'm just trying to cause one other breakup so people know my miseries. One secret.
I will say that the crazy part of him saying that is that the 3 times he did eat my ass, that was the only time he ever flossed. Anyways,
I think this belongs to you.
Ready for... Probably does. I actually cried all the time during my relationship with Sebastian after being with him for 2 years. And it's still the only time he's ever made me wet.
All right, well, we got the sisters voting for Amanda.
What do you mean by sisters?
Yeah, what the fuck?
What the fuck is that supposed to mean, sisters?
I'm gonna try to high-five the gay guy again.
How was I supposed to know he was gay? I'm not making assumptions.
You're off the rails right now.
You're definitely a lesbian. We got the lights on. Shut the fuck up. Amanda's grandpa died shortly after molesting Amanda. Wow, another man who hit it and quit it.
You know what? Yeah, I was molested by my grandfather. Yes, and still, Sebastian is the worst sexual experience I've ever had.
You can't fuck with my grandfather. I'll tell you that much.
Last year, Sebastian left me for a girl so young that she doesn't remember the 9/11. But that's okay, because now I'm dating a guy so old that he doesn't remember 9/11.
Amanda is an actor and a cocaine addict, so in both cases she has to suck dick to get any lines. All right, we know where the horse went.
No refunds.
Sebastian once got banned from Comedy Bar for 2 months for using the R word on stage. But in his defense, like black people using the N word, he's just taking the word back.
That was the #1 battle of the week, Pat.
Yeah.
That's the best battle I saw this week.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rano, back to back. You earned it. That was sweet. Now I've seen Seabash because he's a big fan of the show.
Yep.
When we started doing this, he couldn't wait to get involved. So it's great to see him at a #1 battle. He's gonna love this. But against his ex-girlfriend, that's a tough one. I learned a lot of things I probably didn't need to know about Sebastian or Studio there. But that was a lot of fun. But the joke of the show for me is that grandfather joke.
The hit it and quit it?
I mean, no, just the fact that...
her rebuttal?
she's got granddaddy issues. She doesn't have daddy issues. She has granddaddy issues, and the fact that I know that her grandfather lays better dick than Sebastian does is a wild stat to know.
Yeah, and you combine that with her joke about now I'm dating a guy so old he doesn't remember 9/11 either.
That's what I mean by granddaddy issues.
Yeah. There's a lot going. There's a lot to unpack with this battle. It was, I was uncomfortable a lot. I had it ranked very highly.
Yeah.
I like this battle. The joke writing was very, very good. I get uneasy with that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
That's fun.
I don't need two people talking about eating each other's asses. I'm good.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, we've heard it in, random battles sometimes, You've heard so many slut jokes at this point or, whatever jokes. I mean, you've heard it all.
That's generic.
But this is like, they're doing that.
3 times. She gave me a number, how many times he ate her ass.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like we're getting way too deep into
the
specifics.
floss. I mean, the
flossing was fun. It was funny.
It was all funny.
It was all funny.
Yeah, like everything rolled off each other. It seemed like they wanted to be in there. It was all consensual. This guy knows what I'm talking about. It's like as if that guy fucked his ex-girlfriend. I mean, great theater. That whole thing was great.
It was great. I look at Sebastian and I'm like, these guys are going to get back together and break up 2 more times, and then it will end in a murder-suicide. I'm like,
it felt like a kink. Like they were doing that just to get turned on.
Yeah. They probably fucked that night and then, screamed at each other in the morning and they're not speaking now. I don't like that dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing just made me feel like icky. But really, really funny jokes. Amanda was a woman on a mission. She came in there ready to kill. He seemed like he was trying to have some, fun up there. And she seemed like, I'm here to end you.
Yeah.
I'm here to ruin you. And I believed her when she was like, he made me cry constantly. I was like, she has the energy of somebody who's like, I'm here for revenge. I'm taking back the night.
I mean, she opened with saying, like, I cheated on you and they were all black guys.
Yeah.
As if it was like...
I did like when he was like, why do you have to specify that they're black? There was no need for that.
Because it's like that Shane Gillis joke of just like, that's the dick you fear.
Oh, okay.
As a white, I mean, I don't know this. I'm a black guy, obviously, but I'm saying like it's funny to hear when Shane says that of like that's the only dick I thought I had to fear was black. I didn't know it was Navy SEAL also.
Right. Well, in this case, black, and I didn't know it was grandfather also.
Yeah, grandfather dick you got to deal with.
I will say though, not one little dick joke, which leads me to believe Sebastian has a fucking monster dick.
I mean, she stayed there for 2 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that was pretty great how she like Chris Browned herself, where she was just like, by the way, do you know about this beef? Chris Brown and Quavo of the Migos?
No, I'm out of the loop. Fill me in.
Chris Brown has one of the hardest diss tracks I've ever heard in my life. It's like, it's Tupac Hit 'Em Up-esque. It's really good. Anyway, that's what she was basically saying, like, no, I fucked everybody while I was dating you.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying that about Quavo, like, all of your bitches, I fucked them while you were dating them.
I mean, she did, her first rebuttal was the exact same joke he just did.
Yeah, it was
the many
great.
men. And she was like, that's funny because, and she said the exact same joke, and the crowd was like, good, fuck this guy. They decided right away, they were like, we're on your side in this whole thing. We do not like this guy. And he still fought through it and got some big laughs.
I thought he was great.
He was great.
Yeah,
he was great.
Because I thought it was rolling off him more than her. She was just like out to kill, and he was like, we could probably fuck after this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also like opening, I didn't know that Sebastian dated girls, but the more we got into it, I was like, oh, okay, he's bi.
Yeah, okay. If you say so.
She said the pegging thing, so I'm just assuming.
All right, well, I don't want to get into the whole is that gay thing.
No, I mean, what? That's not, no, it's bi. It's cool.
Okay.
Whatever. He's bi. Is he?
I don't, why the fuck would I know?
Sebastian, you should write in. This is actually not even part of the show at this point.
I can probably tell you his like roast battle record, but I don't keep a spreadsheet on who is and isn't gay in the league.
Oh man! No,
as a commissioner, I guess.
First of all, it's not gay. Listen, there's a spectrum, Pat.
Right, I understand. I'm not saying like
not just gay, right? So I mean, like saying gay, it's like that's just that's men and men, right? Lesbians just women and women.
Sure.
Bi, you're just partying.
Well, they're going to be partying on the streets of Toronto after 2 straight #1 battles. I'll tell you that much.
Hell yeah.
Let's take a look at the standings before we get out of here. We'll start internationally. Scotland picks up the 6 points. Toronto with the 7. That division is really heating up. Toronto, I'll say this. If we had a wild card for the best non-division winner, Toronto is leading every other second-place team now with 19 points. The jump they've made from last season, 34 weeks, they scored 17 points This year, they have eclipsed that mark by week 7.
Dude, you were ready to kick him out of the league, I remember last year. You were like, these Toronto guys.
They took a while to get it figured out.
They're really, I mean, like, that's 2 back-to-backs. It's 14 points. They just leapfrogged Barcelona. And Barcelona was number 2 for what, weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, Barcelona's having a really... I don't think there's any other division where the top 3 teams are all in double digits. So shout out to the International West. Those guys have been bringing it this season. And congrats to Toronto on 2 straight number 1s. They're trying to make a run at Scotland. I'm here for it. In the Eastern Division, Manchester picks up a few points. London off the scoreboard this week. Manchester now doubling up London 22-11. Tokyo picks up the 5 for their battle.
Look at Tokyo. Little by little, baby.
That's the key, man. Just keep chipping away. They are 5 points behind London for that second spot. Obviously still a ways back from Manchester. Let's check out the American side of things right here. Los Angeles off of the charts this week. Austin picks up 4 points, leapfrogs the Bay Area, moves into second place, and Denver finally getting that 0 away from their name.
Off the schneid.
Off the schneid. And then in the East, this is the first week Chicago does not make an appearance in the top 7. They had a 6-week run to start the season. They still hold a pretty comfortable lead over New York, 32-18. New York picks up a point this week. Cleveland and Atlanta still bringing up their
Cleveland has a point. Let's go.
Cleveland had a point week 1.
Oh, man. Yeah, Cleveland, get back on the board, my man.
Yeah.
My whatever. It's non-gender descriptive.
What week do you think Atlanta gets on the scoreboard?
This week that I'm coming, Pat.
This is the one?
This is the one. We're getting on the board this week because I'm going to be there. And hell's coming with me. Secondly, you're wrong. Both West divisions both have 3 cities
you are
in
correct.
double digits.
You are correct. So yeah, International West, American West, really a lot of talent up and down the entire board. The Eastern divisions, especially in Atlanta, we got to get them a point. Get them a point, Moses. I'm begging you.
We're coming in this week.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's do it. I think that's it. You got anything else?
Let's roast!